State Representative Jeffrey Elmore with your weekly session update for 5/26. I'm shooting the update this week from my porch. We had a lot of things happening in Raleigh and a lot of meetings that were in and out, so I'm actually in district today. I first want to talk about the success of All-Star Week last week at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Very complimentary comments on Twitter, on websites from reporters on how successful the week was and how excited folks are for seeing racing back at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And a big concern was traffic, and they actually got all of the traffic on All-Star Race Day out in an hour and 42 minutes of all of the folks that were there as fans, and then the drivers' trucks rolled after that. So it was a pretty good way that they have structured it with partnership with the Highway Patrol and local Sheriff's Department, law enforcement agents. So a real big hit for our community in a positive way, very exciting. This week in the House, we voted to not concur with the Senate budget proposal unanimously, 108-0. This is House Bill 259, the State Appropriations Act. This is normal procedure, and now we are in negotiations. We are in conference. Full chairs have been meeting this week, dealing with basically the salary packages, also reserves, putting back and forth proposals. So we are starting to work dealing with the budget, and we are hoping to have some targets to our subcommittees so they can start working with each other, the House and Senate, discussing the differences and getting that done. We hopefully will stay on our timeline to get the budget enacted before the fiscal year starts July 1. Something else that was interesting this week that I wanted to address, Governor Cooper issued a state of emergency, almost like a faux state of emergency, dealing with education. This concerns me a great deal because a state of emergency is something that should be taken very seriously, especially after we have rolled off of the most extensive state of emergency dealing with COVID-19, also several hurricanes that we've had in the past few years, wildfires in the mountains, even here in the district, the massive flooding that happened in Alexander County. There are true states of emergency, and just because we are going into budget negotiations dealing with educational spending and educational policy, I think this was a very much an overreach on the use of the idea of the state of emergency. That concerns me a little bit, but one of the pieces that he has talked about and I want to address is HB 823, Choose Your School, Choose Your Future. What this bill is, this was sponsored by Speaker Moore and also Representative Cotham out of Mecklenburg. This expands the Opportunity Scholarship Program basically to any income level, but it also creates a gradation in the amount of money that would be received. So there's a lot of misinformation. He says this is giving millionaires a check from the state of North Carolina to deal with their private school. With the scale and how it's created in the bill, they would receive some money, but after a certain income level, they would not receive any. They wouldn't qualify for it. This basically puts this opportunity for any kid in North Carolina except for the ultra wealthy, and then folks that are of more means would not be receiving the same amount of money as a person that may be working poor or living in poverty, which was the original setup of the program. So there's a little misinformation with the bill there. I've always been supportive as a teacher. I want to find, the kid needs to find the place where they find the most success. May it be private, may it be a charter, may it be an online charter, may it be a public school, may it be an early college. I want the kids to find success. So wherever that may be is where they need to be. And right now, financially, we have enough money that is coming in. The expansion of this program is possible financially currently. So a little concern I do have is the long-term cost. But we have to adjust budgets each year, each 2 years, and each year with the adjustment. So right now, this is financially doable. Something else that we've been getting a lot of questions about is AIG funding in each of the budgets. And there's been some concern. What AIG is academically gifted funding going to our local systems to deal with kids that are exceptional children That's what AIG is, and they're high performing. What this does, it codifies language that we were putting in the budget each biennium, and we call it boilerplate. What this will do is codify it to where it's no longer has to be boilerplate language that's inserted in the budget each year. This does not cut AIG funding. It does not limit AIG funding any more than it's currently in practice. The Senate budget did put a proposal in to increase this to 5.6% because currently it operates at 4%. That was not in the House version, but that's something that will be open to negotiation, especially with this change. So I wanted to make sure that people knew that we were not cutting academically gifted student funding with the way that we're doing this. We are just putting in codified language the practice that we've been doing basically for the last decade. And to close, before I leave you, big announcement will be happening this week. It will be this Wednesday. Very excited about it, and stay tuned for the announcement dealing with the Lieutenant Governor this upcoming week. Going into this weekend, I want us to remember Memorial Day, what the true reason for Memorial Day is. I know a lot of people view it as the kickoff of summer with grilling hot dogs and getting the swimming pools open. But the real reason for Memorial Day is for us to remember our fallen, our soldiers that paid the ultimate sacrifice in protecting the freedoms of this country. Please remember that coming this Monday. Just a little prayer for the families that their loved ones lost their life in service. That's the weekly session update for this week. Thanks for listening.